Are you on the right camera?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mafia Means Family Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
I'm Mafia Mom.
I am Mini Mafia.
And today we're going to be talking about the Jets-Bills game, the season opener. I know everybody is pumped up and ready to go. We do already have a couple comments and a couple people in the chat, so thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And please feel free to play along or give any opinions that you have. We want to hear them. So one of the interesting comments I already saw was in reference to the game that's going to be going on tonight here in about an hour. You want to read that one?
Sure. 716 Razor said, Detroit, let's go. Big statement tonight, Buffalo to Detroit, baby.
So I would love to see Detroit go out there and get a win tonight. I know that the Chiefs are, last I heard, Kelsey was iffy. They've made an announcement by now, I'm sure, but I wasn't paying attention. But if he's not there, I mean, I'm not sure who Mahomes is throwing it to. So it should be an interesting one. Plus, I think Detroit, I don't know if they're worth the hype they've had this offseason, but they are a much improved team. And I think they can put up some points. So it should be a good game. I'm excited to see it for sure. Just so you know, the names like that with the 716 in front of it, that's the Buffalo area code. So 716. We live just outside of Buffalo, so we actually have a different area code, but I wanted him to know for future reference. All right, so how has your week been, Mini Mafia?
My week has been great. I just started school back up.
You did? And how's that going?
It's going pretty good. I do have to walk a long way, though, to get to my math class, but it's okay.
Yep. And that's because why?
I'm in advanced math.
Yes. So what grade are you in now?
I'm in 6th grade, but I have to walk up to the middle school / high school to go to the 7th grade math class.
But it's going good so far. You're 2 days in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So you excited for this game Monday?
I am. I'm extremely excited. It's going to be a good matchup.
It is. What do you think of the Jets? Like, and you guys in the chat too. What do you guys think? I know the Bills were the media darlings after going into last season. There was a lot of hype around us. I think a lot of Bills fans were very, it was nice to see, but it made us a little nervous. Like it's better to be the underdog for sure. But the Jets, the hype around them, having not been to the playoffs in 14 years, is just mind blowing because they got a 39-year-old quarterback. Like, I don't understand how big they got. What do you think of them? How do you think the Jets are going to do this year?
I think they're going to be at least a 9-win team.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to blow some games towards the beginning of the season. Just because so far he's getting to his end of the career. He's never really been much of a scrambling quarterback, but
when in his younger days, he could definitely get himself out of trouble. But he's not a rushing quarterback like an Allen or Lamar or Hurts. Yes.
Now he can't really get himself out of trouble. He's a little bit slower. Also, he doesn't work well with young wide receivers. The entire Jets team basically is young guys, like Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and lots of other guys. I just named some of the bigger names. Also, Aaron Rodgers tends to blow some of the games towards the beginning of the season. He hasn't done so good so far, like in his career. So I think they're going to be a 9+ win team.
Okay. All right. Christopher here, I think he at least agrees with you on the fact that the Jets are a little overrated, agrees with us.
Massively.
I would agree with that for sure. And I see a lot of Go Bills in there. Always a good thing to say, Go Bills. We got another comment here from Beth B. Today was our first day back to school. I have a pre-K or second grader and 7th grader. I teach, I think that means STEM class, I'm assuming, but maybe STEAM stands for something else. Class 6th through 8th grade. It was a great day. Well, I'm glad you had a great first day back. Wow, 3. Your hands are full. And then you don't even get the break now, even though they're back in school because you're in school too. So good luck to you this school year for sure, and your kids. Maybe we'll have to have some people on the podcast later on in the season, and maybe you and I don't know if any of your kids are really into the Bills like you are, but maybe they come on and we talk a little bit on camera live. So we'll have to get together and see if you're up for that. We have another comment here from Beth B. What do you think?
I need to see Rodgers to believe the hype.
I'm totally with you, Beth. And let me ask you something, and you guys in the chat. Last year, there was a major drop-off in Aaron Rodgers' numbers. Now, he lost Devontae Adams. I don't care what quarterback you are, Devontae Adams is going to make you better. But was that drop off an anomaly because he lost Devontae Adams, and now that he has a Garrett Wilson, who I think is a step up from anybody who had last year, is he going to be back to MVP era Rodgers, or was last year him aging along with the Devontae Adams thing, and he's not getting better? He's not going to go back to that, 2020 and 2021 form. So just curious what you guys think. And Beth there said, I run Media Club, and they all are awesome. So we can set that up. That sounds awesome. We would love to do that. We'll have to figure out how to connect, maybe in the comments or something, or we'll through email, and we'll definitely have to set that up for one of the games later this year, maybe before a Patriots game. Those are always fun to talk about. Okay, so what do you think? Is Rodgers from last year an anomaly, or is that the new Rodgers?
I think that's the new Rodgers. He's been aging. Also, he lost one of the best wide receivers in the entire league. Um, he's a little out of his prime, but he's still like one of the top 5 wide receivers. Even though he doesn't
Devontae Adams, you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
Devontae Adams. Even though he has a quarterback like Derek Carr.
Well, not anymore. Now he's got Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, he's good, but Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams definitely had a better connection.
I
just
agree.
because they were both getting older. Also, they both had more experience with each other. So I think we're seeing the new Aaron Rodgers. But he might take a step up. I think he might go to the Pro Bowl this year. Just because he also has a really good wide receiver like Garrett Wilson, who doesn't have that much experience, but he's still a really good wide receiver.
Okay, fair enough. I think everybody's just a little. Let's see what it looks like before we crown them kings of anything. And I think that's kind of what you're saying too. We got to see what he's going to be like with Garrett Wilson, and I would agree. Christopher says he's getting old. I totally agree with you. There's a reason why Tom Brady was the first QB to play that late in life at a high level. It's not easy. I love Josh, but I don't see him playing at almost 40 years old, not with the style he plays. So it's not easy to do. You lose something in those years. And I don't think Aaron's going back to MVP Aaron. And my big criticism of Aaron, and Beth here saying Rodgers isn't the Rodgers of the Packer era. And I agree with that. I don't think he's going back to that. But my big criticism of Rodgers, even in his prime, has been, I believe Rodgers is one of those guys that plays for stats and not wins. And what I mean by that is, if you watch Rodgers early in a game make a bad play, throw a bad interception, I know he doesn't throw a lot, or some incompletions, 4 or 5 incompletions in a row, things like that, he turtles. He all of a sudden is afraid to take shots. He doesn't go deep. He is more worried about how that stat line is going to look than what that box score is going to look like, that final score. I don't respect that in any professional athlete, in any athlete on any level. I don't think Josh does that, and I think Aaron's done that his whole career. Now, don't get me wrong, with the number of touchdowns to interceptions he has, a lot of that is talent, but some of it is from him refusing to take chances when it's not beneficial to him. So I see that a lot. We have another comment here from Beth. Rodgers is not Brady. He can't do what Tom did. I agree with you there. I know they're trying to gain that magic that the Rams did and the Bucs did. I don't think the winning formula is bringing in a 39-year-old quarterback to your team. I don't see it that way. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the Jets Bills here. The final score later, we'll give you those predictions and a Josh Allen stat line, some hot takes. But first, we're going to go into our offensive keys to the game. So would you like to start? What's your offensive key to the game?
My offensive key to the game is to spread the ball out. We need to spread the ball out. We can't just be passing to Diggs or Davis. We need to spread the ball out, even in the run game. We need to get Damian Harris some touches, and James Cook some touches. And I want to see Kincaid out there, too. I want to see what plays he can make, and if he lives up to his hype.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that's a good one. I think we would all agree that a lot of things went wrong last year, but one thing was Josh at times reverted back to his first 2 years where he had a little too much arm arrogance, and he tried to squeeze that ball into some places that it shouldn't have been. And he threw some bad picks, bad reads, things like that. I think that comes from him not fully trusting everybody to make a play. And I think we need to start this year out right. I will say, and I didn't mention this to you before, but After we did our show last week, I had watched some Gabe Davis media from the off season. He did a great interview with Kay Adams at training camp. It was really comical, very personable. But out of all the interviews I watched, the two big takeaways I had was that ankle injury played a much bigger role last year than I wanted to give it credit for. And it appeared Davis had something going on in his personal life last year that was impacting his play. Now, these guys are professional athletes, but they're still human beings. And I don't know what it was. He was very vague. He never even specifically said that, but I think we're going to see a new Gabe Davis starting tomorrow and Monday, and I'm very excited to see him. So I agree with you. Spread the ball around is a big deal. My offensive key to the game, and I feel like you could do this for every single game, especially with a guy like Josh Allen at quarterback, because he is a high risk, high reward quarterback, but it's protect the ball. I think we all remember we blew out the Rams last year, week 1, and turned the ball over, 3-4 times. You can't do that against the Jets D. They're too good. You can't give them those chances. So I think we can get away with one turnover. I don't want to see it, but I think we can get away with one. You can't turn the ball over multiple times. You just can't. Protect the ball. I don't care if you're taking 5-6 yard dunks down the field. We don't need to go for 2, 3, 50-yard passes in a row and get one of them picked off. It's just not necessary. So that would be my offensive key. If you guys, any of you want to share your offensive keys in the chat, please feel free to. I would love to hear what your opinions are. Defensive key to the game and defense as well. If you have a defensive key, go ahead.
My defensive key is pass rush. We need. Wait, who's their quarterback? Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I had a brain fart there. We need to get pressure on Rodgers. I don't know if he does well under pressure. I haven't seen him play much. But we need to get pressure on Rodgers, so he has to make quick decisions every time, and that might mess up his game a little bit. So we might get some turnovers. We might throw some weird picks. And we might be able to get some fumbles.
I'm with you on that. That was originally mine, was pressure. I think specifically up the middle. I think you need to get Rodgers off his spot. He is not the quarterback he used to be. And if we could force him to throw on the run more than standing in the pocket feeling comfortable, it's a good day. I know we don't have Von Miller. The Jets are very happy about that. I don't think it's going to be that big a problem for this game. I'm excited to see Leonard Floyd out there. But to my key to the defensive key to the game, because I didn't want to use the same one as you, I'm going to go with the middle linebacker spot. Now, I don't know about all you, but I was very excited when I saw that Christian Bedford was going to be our CB2 and Bernard was going to be our middle linebacker. I think right now for this week, that is the best choice. We have Beth here, I think, agreeing with what we were saying earlier about the offense, that when he forces it, he gets picked. And I agree. And I think she also mentioned at one point that he's got to take what the D gives him. And again, I totally agree. I want to see how Bernard holds up. He is a much more Milano-style linebacker than Edmonds. He doesn't have the size of Edmonds. It could be an issue in the run game. However, I think we're going to see our nickel defense played a little different this year, as long as Hyde is good to go, which I know there was some questions about whether or not he was practicing yesterday, and then he did, but he stretched some of the time. I think instead of having Teron Johnson in there, I think we're going to go up a slight weight class and have Taylor Rapp in there. And I think he's going to play that nickel spot, which should help us out a little bit in the run game. I also think Poona Ford will be a big deal to stopping the run. In obvious rundowns. Obviously, he's not going to be in there on 3rd down and 8, but on obvious rundowns, I think Poona Ford could help us out a lot there. So Poona Ford we got him from Seattle. He's the big inside rusher. He plays like Ed Oliver's position, but he'll rotate with Oliver. But he's a better run stopper than pass rusher. So that would be mine. I just want to see how that middle linebacker holds up. And I think it's healthy competition, even if I can't think of his name, but Kingsley, I think it is. Even if he comes in and he wins the spot, I think Bernard breathing down his back will still be a good thing for him. So, you got anything else you want to add about the offensive and defensive keys?
No, just when you spread the ball around, and Josh can't make any stupid decisions. This Jets team is, especially their defense, is legit. Well, I'm a little scared of Sauce, but not much.
No? Well, we're going to get to your hot take in a minute. I think you might surprise everybody there. This is a great comment from Mafia Sports Report. These teams have a real surprise coming the way these teams have a real surprise coming their way with this McDermott aggressive style defense. This won't be a Frazier bend but don't break defense. Look for more exotic blitz packages. I 1,000,000,000% agree with this comment. I think at times Frazier is too vanilla, and I think that is what has held us back in the playoffs other than last year, the last few years. You have got to do something different, and Frazier just doesn't. He goes out and he's going to tell you, my 11 are better than yours, and it worked through the regular season. It didn't work in the postseason. Bill's giving up almost 30 points a game in the postseason. It's ridiculous. I think Sean McDermott is going to be very interesting as a play caller, and I can't wait to see how aggressive he gets. You want to read that one from Beth B?
Um, so Rodgers can't play uncomfortable if we keep pressure. Rodgers will panic. He doesn't want to be hit. I agree with you, 100%, Beth. He doesn't want to be hit. He's a pocket-style quarterback. I don't think he's used to being hit, just because like he had Devontae Adams. He had definitely some targets to pass to. So I think if we can get pressure quick enough into the pocket, I think he's gonna get uncomfortable and he's gonna start making turnovers.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think the pressure on him is definitely the key. Make him as uncomfortable as possible. All right, so we're going to go on to your favorite segment that we do. Fact and flag. No, not the hot takes. We're going to go on to fact or flag here. So again, on the chat, please feel free to play along. If you believe the statement I'm about to read is true, you're going to say fact. If you believe that it is false, you're going to say flag. So the first statement is Allen has never had a 1,000-yard rusher. So his running back has never run for 1,000 yards since he's been drafted. I think that's a fact. We have while we're giving people a chance to answer here, we'll read this comment. Defense failed us in the playoffs. These are facts, and this is why Frazier is no longer in Buffalo. Love the guy, but a change was needed. I agree with you. You know, people want to talk a lot, and I'll mention this real quick while we're waiting for the fact or flag answers. People want to talk a lot about how Allen chokes in the playoffs and Burrow is clutch. It's ridiculous. Look at the numbers. Like, Allen has the same number of interceptions as Burrow. He's played one more game, and yet he has double the touchdowns. It's not even close. The difference between the Bengals winning and the Bills losing in the playoffs is defense. The Bengals defense gives up an average of over 10 points less than the Bills in postseason. The Chiefs defense gives up less than the Bills in postseason. You can't give up 30 points a game in postseason and expect to make it to the Super Bowl. You can't. So I'm 100% with you. So looks like everybody here is stating fact. You also thought it was a fact. That is true. So Josh Allen has never had 1,000-yard rushers. The most was 2 years ago, and I believe it was 870. It was Singletary. So I am very excited to see if James Cook or Damian Harris can get to 1,000 yards this year.
I think James Cook might. He's more of a first, second, third down running back. He gets us big yardage, that short yardage.
Yeah, he averaged like 5.7 yards a carry last year. He just got limited opportunities. So we'll see. I think the big thing with Damian Harris, I think he'll have more limited, at least to start the season, more limited opportunities. So we'll see how James Cook does. But I would love for Allen to be able to have that support. That's the main goal there. So we have Patrick G. Mafia. I love the name. I'm hard on Dawkins. Me and Mikey fight about that. LOL. Yeah, Dawkins. You know, I think he's good for one hold a game. Given our offensive line, he's one of the better ones, but I think he's a below average left tackle. I love his personality. I think he fits in very well in Buffalo. I love him as a person, and all the charity he does, but he's not a great left tackle. Fortunately, Allen covers up from a lot of deficiencies on the line. What do you think of Deion Dawkins?
Deion Dawkins is definitely, I think, a solid left tackle. He's definitely good for some holds a game. He might get like an illegal man downfield a couple of times a year, but I think he's a decent left tackle. But I think he definitely needs to get better at not giving up like Von Miller style DTs on the outside.
So like smaller, quicker, like bendy rushers.
Yeah. I think he'd be good at like towards like the left guard position, like where he's guarding like Myles Garrett, someone like that. Okay. I think he would be better on the outside just because like he's a bigger guy, and I think he has a lot more strength in it.
So I'm sorry, you think he would be better at guard or he's better at tackle?
I think he would be better at guard, like just.
So on the inside.
Yeah, because he's like a bigger guy and
okay.
He lets more stuff up towards the outside than the inside.
I understand what you're saying. I just think right now he's the best option we have at left tackle. I'm far more worried about Spencer Brown at right tackle right now than Deion Dawkins. But I hear you. Dawkins is he's not the best left tackle in the NFL. All right, question number 2, factor flag. Oh, we'll read this comment here real quick from Beth. Not for nothing, Cook faced his brother last season against the Vikings and we lost. This time, Jimbo will walk away with the win. I love that take. When we get to our hot takes in a little bit, you'll see I completely agree with you, Beth. I think it's interesting to play his brother. Obviously, they're not on the field at the same time, but I agree that I think James Cook or Damian Harris are going to have a big season. I think Allen's finally going to get that support. All right, so next question in factor flag. Here you go. So this is an interesting one. Rodgers, when he has faced the Bills, his completion percentage is 2% higher than it is in his career. What do you think? Factor flag.
Bills have always had a good defense,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's a flag.
You think it's a flag? Okay, we'll give everybody a chance to answer here. I'm just looking for a screenshot I took earlier. So I can use that real quick. See if anybody else answers. So anybody else? So the statement was that Aaron Rodgers, his completion percentage when he faces the Bills is 2% higher than his career average. Okay, John brings up not Allen has a great record versus Rodgers. I mean I get what you're saying. However, Rodgers did face this a few times without Allen as well, so keep that in mind. But here, so I'm going to give the answer here. So that is 100% flag. So you got that one right, and so did John there. His completion percentage is actually down over 10% when he faces the Bills in his career. So his completion percentage in 4 games that he's faced the Bills is only 54.6%. He only averages 235 yards. And this is the big one as far as I'm concerned. Aaron Rodgers is known for his touchdown interception ratio and how impressive that is. However, in the time that he has faced the Bills, he has 5 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. So it's nothing special. He has not done well versus the Bills defense in the past. He is 2-2 record wise, but his stats have not looked, they haven't been anything impressive. Now, just to keep all things fair, Josh Allen has not had his best games against the Jets either. So we'll see what happens Monday night. But Rodgers has not played well against Buffalo historically. Okay, last one for factor flag. So Allen led the NFL last season in completion air yards. Okay, so what that means for anybody who doesn't know, that is how far the ball is traveling when it is completed. So if it's a dropped pass, it doesn't count. Any yards after catch don't count. It's how far the ball is traveling when it is caught. He led the NFL in completion air yards last year. So what do we think? Factor flag.
I think that's a fact. He went deep a lot of times, and most of the time they caught it.
Okay, so we have a factor. We have Patrick saying, "I respect Rodgers, but the chemistry will pull through for the Bills." I agree. Rodgers has consistently struggled with chemistry with young receivers, and I know he's got Lazard and Cobb, who I can't believe is still playing. Those are not the threats I'm worried about. So I agree with you. The chemistry will help us. And then Josh still wins against the Jets, even when he sucked. Yeah, I think he's got 3 losses against the Jets in 10 games, if I'm correct. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's 3-6. So he's got a good record against the Jets. Mafia Sports Report. Dawkins is a Pro Bowl tackle. Problem is some games he's a no-show. Story of his career. But to be fair, he never have a consistent guard next to him. That's a valid point. Our guard position has been an issue for a while, and Dawkins has not had the other support on the line that he needs. So I would totally agree with you there, Mafia. And I know he's a Pro Bowler. Sometimes I think the Pro Bowl selected more on name recognition than anything, and he earned it that first year, and it's kind of been handed to him, I think, 1 or 2 other times since then. So I'm just not sure he's playing up to Pro Bowl level right now. All right, so do we have any answers here? We have a fact from Beth B. You said fact, right? That is 100% correct. So he did, and I think that's actually a problem for the Bills. The Bills need to get more yards after catch, which is where I think Kincaid plays such a big role. Josh Allen was actually 253 more air yards than Pat Mahomes, who was fourth. That tells you something. So we really, I don't know who second was. I didn't look up the full list, but we need to get some production that is not just on Josh's arm. We need to be able, and some of that's on Josh too. You got somebody open in the flat, give it to him and let him do the work. Stop trying to go for that deep pass. And I think Josh will this year, at least to start the season. We'll see about that midseason slump we seem to hit every year, but at least for that. So congratulations, 3 for 3 today in Factor Flag. Very, very good job. And good job. And thank you for everybody who participated in the chat for sure. All right, so now we're going to move on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our Josh Allen stat line for the game. So what are you thinking the Josh Allen stat line is going to be for this game?
I think Josh is going to have 257 yards, 5 rushes, 27 yards in the rush game, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Okay, that would be a good day. I would take that. Anybody in the chat, please feel free to share what you think Josh's stats are going to look like after Monday night. I'm pretty close to you as far as the passing yards go. I had 255. I do think he's going to have a few more rushing yards. That Jets defense is legit, and I think he's going to have to get off his spot and take off a few times. Please slide, Josh. Like, I don't care about the extra yard unless like the game's on the line. Slide. I do think he's going to have 50-yard rushing, and I have him at 2 TDs. So we're not too far apart there. And then we'll go into our hot takes now because you want to do your hot take second, right? Yes? Okay. So I'll do my hot take first. I'm not sure how hot it is. I think with all the hype around the Jets, it's a hot take. But I believe the Bills running backs are going to outgain the Jets running backs Monday night. So I think James Cook and Damian Harris will have more rushing yards at the end of the day than Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Again, if you have a hot take, please feel free to share it in the chat. Patrick, I think I'll like what you had to say there. You want to read that?
Well said, young Bill. Thank you, Patrick.
And then we have Mini Mafia's hot take here, and I think this is a good one. So, go ahead.
My hot take is Sauce will get exposed by Stephon Diggs.
Whew, that is on fire hot. So, what makes you think that?
Well, Sauce is only a second-year cornerback. He did get Rookie of the
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yes, he did get that last year, but he needs to live up to the hype in order to be he needs to be consistent at the cornerback spot. He did basically lock down Diggs. Nobody has done that against Diggs as far as we know when he was on the Bills. Nobody has done that but Sauce. I think he only got 3-4 catches last year.
I'd have to look it up. I didn't look up the stats, but he didn't have a big game. No, but Allen didn't have a big game. So,
well, I think he is going to have Diggs is going to have 9 receptions, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think
that would be a day.
I think he's going to expose Sauce once, but it's going to be like the worst expo. Like he's going to break his ankle so bad he will fall. It's kind of like the Davis move in the Chiefs game.
Okay, good to hear. And you were mentioning something else about you think with Sauce. So what is another reason why you think that Sauce is in jeopardy of being exposed this year?
He does get handsy with the wide receivers, so he's definitely going to get called a couple of times.
Okay.
If he's too handsy with Stephon or our wide receivers, and I think that is going to make him really mad. So I think he's going to go all out speed on Diggs, and that's where he's going to get his ankles broken with a little double move for a tuggy.
Okay, I think it was like the first play of the game last year. Diggs got him on a double move. Sauce jumped the route, and Diggs got deep on him. Patrick, he seems impressed with your prediction here. Wow, 2 tutties for Diggs. Yeah, I would love to see it. I'm not sure I quite think it's going to be that big a day, but I would love to see it, and I respect you for making such a hot take for sure.
I also think Davis is going to have a touchdown. since I said that Allen's gonna have 3 touchdowns, I think Diggs is gonna have 2. Davis is gonna have 1. I think he's gonna have 2 receptions for 45 yards.
Okay, so you expect a big day. I will say that I don't know if everybody heard it, but I think his name's DJ Reed, the other cornerback CB2 for the Jets, was asked about how good the Jets defense could be this year, and he went right into comparing their defense to the '85 Bears and the Legion of Boom, and I almost fell out of my chair. Like, it's one thing to be compared to a defense that's that legendary halfway through the season. I think that's even premature. But to compare yourself to a defense that's that legendary before a snap has been played was a little mind blowing to me. So I think they're definitely believing their own hype a little bit, and it'll be nice to see if they can actually how they play with those expectations, because like the Bills last year, they had to come in with those expectations on their shoulders, and it changes the way teams approach you, and it changes the way you play out there. I think there's a lot more pressure on you, and that's what the Jets are experiencing this year. So let's see if DJ Reed can live up to that hype. I would love to see Gabe Davis go off, because he clearly is a smack talker if he thinks he can compare himself to the '85 Bears.
Honestly, I think the entire team is gonna get exposed.
Yeah. Beth here said he better get called. Diggs will chatter and get a flag on him. Yeah, we all have our issues with the refs. I totally get where you're coming from. I don't think it was called a lot last year, but I do think the league every year is putting more and more emphasis on calling those DPI, the defensive pass interference and the holding. So we'll see what happens. He's a very handsy player. That's always been the knock against him. So we'll see if he gets called for it. Sauce year 2 sophomore slump, maybe, Patrick said. And I feel like that's kind of what you're calling for. You think there's some film on him now, and you think teams are going to be able to figure out how to beat him, right?
Definitely,
good receivers.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to progress towards the later, like towards the mid range in his year. Kind of like traded. He got a lot better like towards like when he was like 3-4 years into his
I think Trey started out pretty hot, but you think that Sauce is going to take a step back from where he ended last season, right?
Definitely, but then I think he's going to pick it up next year, and he's going to stay that way for a couple years.
So you're saying basically what Patrick said there, a sophomore slump. So, okay. So now on to, the last thing that we have to do here, which is our final score prediction. So, please feel free to share your final score prediction in the chat. We'd love to see what you think. And I think I know who everybody's picking to win, but put who you think's going to win, obviously, with it. What is your final score prediction for Monday night's game? You want me to go first? Okay, I can go first. I'd love to see the Bills go out there and just destroy the Jets like we did to the Rams last year and shut all of the haters up. I don't think that Allen has figured out this Jets defense yet. Much like with the Patriots defense from a few years ago, I think he struggles against it at times, and they confuse him. They're a good defense. They're a top 5, top 3 defense if they play up to the level they did last year. So I do think it's going to be a close game. However, I think the score will be 24, around 10, 13. Going into the fourth quarter, and I think the Jets will get a touchdown to make it close and make the very end interesting. So I think the final score is going to be 24-20 Bills. I think the under is going to hit on the game. Last I saw was at 46. I do see the Bills winning by 4 points.
I think that the Bills are going to win 31-10.
31-10. Whew. Be a good day.
I think Diggs is going to have 2 touchdowns. Davis is going to have 2 touchdowns. And then I think that we're going to go down, and then we're going to get tackled, that Stephon is going to get tackled at like the 2 or 3 yard line, and then we're going to have Damian Harris pounded in for the score. Okay,
so you got Diggs with 2, Davis with 1, and then Damian Harris going to pick it up.
Yes, and then I think we're going to score a late field goal at the end to pull the lead out even more.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see that. Tommy from Mafia Sports Report thinks the score is going to be 30-17 Bills. That would I'd love to see that. I'd love a game we don't have to sweat it out for the last few seconds. Patrick, you want to read that one?
I respect the Jets, but the Bills have experience. I do agree with you, Patrick. The Bills have a lot more experience, especially on the team. All the guys know each other. They know how each other play. So they have a lot of chemistry with each other. Taylor Rapp is a new addition from the Rams, so that might be a little weak the nickel spot. Honestly, I think that Rapp and Johnson are going to be sharing some snaps,
Probably.
just so the one isn't too tired. But I do agree with Patrick.
You think it's a statement game?
Or
The other comment. Okay. Well, he also said it's a statement game, and I agree. The Bills want to continue to be top dog in the AFC East. You go out and prove it. However, it will temper expectations. It is week one, and week one is a little funky. I mean, some weird things happen. I don't think the winner of this game is guaranteed the division title, and the loser of this game is not back and receivers and all that. I think it takes some time for all that to mesh. Believes the score is going to be 38-24. I would love to see that too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe any offense scored 30 points on the Jets D last year. So it would be very, very cool if we could hit that 30 mark. They're taking a lot of pride in that, and I would love to see us blow through that. All right. So anything else that you would like to add?
No.
No? Okay. Let's see here. I will just add that Mini Mafia will do a short with his score prediction, and we will also have our dog Tasker Mafia Mutt showing off one of his Bills tricks in a short right here on Mafia Sports Report. There's also so many good shows on here. I know I was just watching Tommy's video about it was 5 takes for the defense. And it was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I have the 5 takes for the offense, one up next to my queue. So please check out the other videos on this channel. They're all really, really great content. Excuse me. We appreciate you coming and spending your Thursday evening with us. We hope to see you next week. And yeah, can't wait till Monday, right?
Yep. Can't wait till Monday.
All right. So you guys have a good night and go Bills.
Go Bills, everybody.